K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday Night Mania, the Tuesday after WrestleMania. We're going to be breaking that down. Ace is having a little technical issues, so hopefully he'll be on. And William will be on shortly. He was just finishing up some business on his end. But I am joined by the guy below us. The kids aren't here to say it, but that's Joe down there. Joe, how you doing?
Hey, I tell you what, guys, I had a pretty rough weekend, but I'm glad to be here and glad to be here with you guys.
Yep, exactly. We're glad to have you every week. And then next to me, the co-host, the guy that does everything behind the scenes for us, Mr. Syrup Crispy Bacon. How you doing?
Doing good. WrestleMania was good overall. I mean, one day was better than the other, but it was good overall. And glad to break it down.
We'll definitely get into that. But Chris, why don't we start off before we get too far into it? You had the luxury of going to SmackDown and the Hall of Fame. So how was that experience? That was your first time going, right?
It was. It was good. Had good seats. Pretty. Well, I wouldn't say close to the action, but you could see everything, and some of the matches were pretty good. Some I thought should have a different outcome, but it wasn't too bad, and the Hall of Fame was pretty good too.
So, in your expert opinion, who got the biggest pop of the night, either at the Hall of Fame or SmackDown? Who got that big pop?
I'd have to say Undertaker. I mean, he probably had a 5-minute, interaction with the fans, basically. Undertaker, and one more match, and just a bunch of chants and all that.
Okay, yeah, I think they said it was like a 10-minute, and well, after he got into the ring, I think they had a 10-minute chant going. He barely could start his speech. So,
yeah.
So, Joe, let's start there. What did you think of SmackDown and the Hall of Fame?
Honestly, I did not watch SmackDown. I was at work, and then I got home and started watching the Hall of Fame right when it started to come on. So that's where I picked it up at. Hall of Fame, I thought was good. I always enjoy it. It's one of my best times of the year is seeing those guys and gals go in that deserve it.
Yep.
I think for this year being back with fans since the COVID era, I think it was good just to have that right amount of participants in there, because we know the Hall of Fame is always going to continuously keep going. So there's going to be more and more. My personal opinion, though, even looking back on it, I wasn't a big fan of the Queen Sharmell going in yet. I think there's other women that deserved it more so than she did at this moment in time. But the Undertaker one was obviously the absolute best. But the JTG Shad Gaspard one is the one that got me the most, as being a father and a husband, stuff like that. That was a very, very tough one to watch, and it always is when it comes to the Warrior Award, because it's always somebody that's very, very deserving of it. And this person here gave the ultimate sacrifice by saving his own child over his life. So that was a tough one. As a grown man, I cried on that, and but overall, Hall of Fame was phenomenal.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you, Joe, on get the Warrior Award. I was so hoping that the kid would have spoke, because I think I would have been with you crying. But
yeah, and I just wish that like Rick Steiner would have talked a little bit more. They would give him a little bit more time to talk.
Yep.
Like Jake Carter being able to talk about it, or Jesse White talking about his dad. I remember him as Jake Carter, the wrestler, but having Jesse
did he wrestle? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. He wrestled down in FCW just for a hair. He didn't last very long, and then I'm not sure what he's doing now, but probably off to bigger and better things. But I just wish those would have had a little more talking for them. It seemed like they were kind of rushed a little bit, but
no, I definitely give and the one thing that struck me with Vader's son is when he said that he had the best part-time dad because he was gone all the time. better
Mhm.
than some of his friends that had their dad there full time. And I was just kind of blown away with that because typically when one parent's gone all the time, you always hear, "Hey, you put food on my table, but you weren't here for this, you weren't here for that." And then the way he said it, I was kind of blown away. So we're joined by Will. Will, how you doing, bud? So we're just talking
Man,
about the Hall of Fame.
man, I'm doing great. Just literally just got done with a sale. Had a great sale. So
Good
shout
for
out to
you.
everybody. Hello to everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Tuesday nights are just like they're jumping for me. It's always just one thing to the next kind of thing. So
Okay.
happy to be here. Great to be with you guys. Where's old Ace of Mania?
Ace of Mania is having some technical issues right now, so he hopes to be on shortly. Um,
Yep.
but we're just talking about the Hall of Fame. So, Will, what did you uh, catch from the Hall of Fame? What was your best moments?
So here's the goods, the bads, and ugly. Okay. So number one, Vader, I thought his family did good for the speech. I really truly think they should have had somebody up there to do that speech and then had them kind of chime in. I think that would have been better. Um, so many people that wrestled Vader over the years would have been a great choice to induct him. So I think they dropped the ball a little bit on that. I was a little disappointed in that, not because the family didn't do a good job. I mean, they went up there and knocked it out of the park from their standpoint. But where were the road stories? I mean, that's what you want to hear. You want to hear the road stories. You want to hear all that stuff. And I think we kind of got short a little bit on that. And but other than that, I mean, it was cool. Um, Charmel, I didn't agree with it, but it is what it is, and I understand why they did it. It's all good. Then you talk about, of course, Shad, man. Everybody's talking about, watching Taker retire. I cried and all that. And yeah, man, it was a tough moment. It's an emotional moment. The thing is, it wasn't just a wrestler retiring. And I just said this in my live a few minutes ago too. It was like a piece of everybody our age's childhood retiring. For the past 30 years, and it wasn't just another wrestler going into the Hall of Fame. It was like the book closing on the career of someone that's been around since we were all like in early elementary school. So that was rough. Shad Gaspard, that whole thing, holy cow, that was hard to watch. That was hard to listen to. Really sad. The guy, truly a hero. That guy made it into the status that I think every dad, kind of wants to make it in the status of. You want to be, you want to be your kid's hero, and you want them to look up to you, and you want them to idolize you and stuff. And that guy unfortunately paid for it with his life, but he definitely made it to that level and that status. And I mean, you know how it is. So all of us have kids, or most of us have kids. So, overall good. A little shorter than I thought. As far as inductees, the Steiners, I think the Steiners deserve to be in there. But I am not by any means a Scott Steiner fan at all. I think the guy personally, I think very low of him personally. Rick Steiner, great dude. Steiners as a tag team, absolutely awesome. Definitely in the top 5 of all time. It was just hard to watch because, I just personally don't like Scott Steiner. And did anybody else notice when Scott Steiner was talking and giving his little bit of a speech, how hard it was for him to breathe? I mean, he was really like out of air trying to talk. So the last time I saw anybody that out of air trying to talk during a speech was the Ultimate Warrior. And we all know how that played out. So I would recommend Scott, that dude better be going to the doctor quite often or something, because that dude was blowing up trying to give that speech. So, and you notice too, as a fan, when you meet him in person, that, he has a ton of issues really talking, because he's always real quiet when you meet him in person. So I don't know if he has oxygen issues or what, but I don't know.
Okay. No, I guess I didn't notice that. I was kind of worried about
Dude,
Rick more or less.
No, dude, go back and watch the event and
Okay.
watch when he's talking. His face is beet red. He's sweating. He can't hardly, he
Oh,
stuttered.
I noticed that he was beat red. I just thought maybe he was just holding his emotions back. But
No, he's stuttering a lot, trying to talk, and it's not like
okay.
I know it was like a slow entrance.
yeah, it was more. It was more. Couldn't get the air in.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to go back and watch that. So, overall, which night? We'll break down the matches. But which night did you guys think was better? Night one, night two? Chris, I'll start with you.
I thought night one was better than night two. I mean, overall it was good, but I think night one had a little more surprises than night two.
Okay. Joe, how about you?
I'm going night two, actually. I liked because I was looking forward to the Edge and AJ Styles match. I thought that was going to be the highlight of the show for the weekend, and it lived pretty close to it.
Yeah. It started off slow, but we'll get to that. Will, how about you? Night one, night two. Which was better for you?
Well, match quality, night one. Build up, big fight feel, big hype. Night two. Strange things happen. Sometimes the whole Charlotte Flair over Ronda. I think I predicted that against a lot of people, what they were saying. But, if you look back at what I said and the reason why I said it, you could literally roll the footage. I'm sure Crispy Bacon, that dude's so smart, man. He probably has the footage on speed dial. But you could go back and look at what I said. I said that they need Ronda for Mania. They don't need Ronda for the Raw after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you did say that.
That's why Charlotte is your winner. And then there's all those rumors about her getting pissed off right after being told that she was going to lose and storming out of some taping and stuff like that. So that can all be indicators too on why she wasn't handed that title.
Well, she was also mad.
What's that?
She was also mad that her and Charlotte weren't main event.
Yeah, that's the big rumor.
But here's the thing.
But she came out and said that I have a 6-month-old daughter that I have to put to bed. So those are just rumors, and they're just BS rumors.
But here's the thing, man. You're in Texas and Dallas, and you got Stone Cold Steve Austin on the card. You're not putting him anywhere but in the main event spot. And it doesn't matter if your name is Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker. Your name could be The Rock. And if you have Stone Cold on the card in Texas, in Dallas, that's your main event. That's it. Yeah. And I just had that conversation with one of my admins yesterday, too. There's no other way around that. You have to put Austin in the main event. And then I saw, the rumors popping up and stuff about how they were asking Austin to work for night two. And they weren't sure if he was going to do it. And then, of course, he did come out for night two. But, overall, there was a lot of great stuff at this WrestleMania. There was a lot of boring downtime, too. There was some matches that I thought should go one way. Even if I predicted them to go the other way, I thought they should go one way. AJ Edge, it doesn't matter what kind of brood or what kind of club or clique or whatever you got, stable going. There ain't no way AJ should have lost that match.
Yeah.
So, there's some stuff, but I know we're going to go through match by match, so we can go ahead and get on that. But I will tell you, Brock and Roman did not live up to the hype.
I agree.
No.
I agree. Did not.
Now, I will say this, Will, because you and I have both been to WrestleManias, and we've been into it when it's been only one night.
Yeah.
From beginning to end, nonstop wrestling. Yeah. Now, I was at it last year when it was 2 nights. And again, 2-night concept, I think, is great. But you got to keep it going from beginning to end, because even like last year, there was a lot of downtime, man. From the thunderstorm when I got there, and then we started watching, and then as you're seeing it on TV, all the music playing, all the hype videos, that's what we're seeing. The lights go down. They're playing that stupid Weekend song all freaking weekend long, and it's so much downtime. I can't go. It's like a roller coaster, but I can't go down, up, all night long. If you want to keep me going, man, keep it. Give us 8 matches. Give us a little somebody maybe doing like backstage interview or something. But let's keep it going because even sitting here at home, I'm just like, oh, here we go again. Here we go again. I could time it out from watching it going, here we go. Why do we need to see what happened on night 1 already? Give us another match. So instead we get a 43-second match, whatever it was with the New Day. It's like, come on, why even put them on the card for?
Or show us like a montage kind of thing at the end of Mania.
That's the only bad thing. If they're going to continue, which obviously they're going to next year for 2 nights.
Yeah.
If you're going to give us 8 matches, give us 8 strong matches. And
Here's the thing. What if you would have put Brock and Roman as main event on night 1, and then on night 2, you would have done Charlotte Rousey as the under main event, and then the main event would have been Austin and KO.
I think that would have been better.
I think you could have done that, and I think you could have got away with it successfully.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because I tell you what, I went to the restroom, came back, and next thing I know, the main event match to Brock and Roman was over with. I seen the Kimura lock on there, and then I got up to go, like I said, use the restroom, come back, boom, match is over. I'm like, what in the hell happened?
Yeah. And I think after this too, we might be able to finally put to bed the wishes and the dreams of Rock coming back and doing all these things, because what a great opportunity for him to have come back, and he didn't. I mean, he may come back. He may be in Hollywood, and he may do, WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood. He may go in the Hall of Fame, whatever. But I think now we can kind of start to let go of that dream,
Right, because even if he wasn't at the shows, he could have done a video when right at the end when Roman was on the ramp and he's lifting both those titles up, and you're getting ready to cut away. All of a sudden, that music hits, and even though Rock's not there, he's on that video screen, already laying down the challenge to Roman at that point. So now you got the build, even though Rock's not there. They could have easily set that up.
The last time Rock wrestled at WrestleMania 29 against Cena, like within 12 hours, he was in emergency surgery because he had ripped stuff in his stomach.
I didn't know that.
In his
abdomen. Yeah, he ripped his abdominals, and then the Fast and the Furious movie got put on hold a little bit.
Yeah,
oh wow,
he had internal bleeding and stuff, and that was his last match as far as WrestleMania. Of course, he come out 32, and did a little bit of stuff with coming out, and I think he
didn't he fight Bray and the Wyatt family?
He rock bottomed. I think it was Eric Rowan. He rock bottomed.
Yeah.
But at 30, he came out and did the introduction thing with Hogan and all that. So I mean, he's had some spots. 31, he went fist to fist with Triple H. So he's had some spots. But as far as matches, real matches, him and Cena Rock 2 was at WrestleMania 29 in New York, and he got hurt. So I don't think he's in any kind of hurry to get back in any ring and do anything, especially with a character like Roman and for a title or even not for a title. I just don't see it.
Especially when he's got too much going on with his tequila and his XFL and movies.
Working on that.
I definitely agree with Will. I think, and even Joe, I mean, you guys said it. I think if Rock was going to promote something, he should have done it this WrestleMania or even the night after Raw. Maybe SmackDown, because Roman said there's something big brewing. So if he doesn't do it on SmackDown, then I think we could put to rest Rock coming back for Mania.
And I think
is Rock's thing. So,
and I think it's okay. I think it's all right. I understand the hopes and the wants and the dreams and the wishes, all that, but I think it's okay. I think we can let Rock, go now. And we had our memories. We had our great Rock times. And, he may come back and talk some smack once in a while, but I think we can let go of the idea. And, Roman has now main evented more WrestleManias than a lot of top names out there, and including John Cena. So I think we can kind of go with Roman as a main eventer. Roman has main evented more WrestleManias than The Rock.
Yeah, no, I definitely think.
He's up there. He's 2 away from Ty and Hogan and Cena, right?
He's 1 away from Ty and Hogan.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no,
So
I
the
think
question is, guys,
He
where do we go
passed
now
Cena.
with Roman?
He passed Cena, Joe.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think right now we don't need. I mean, it'd be nice to see Rock Roman, but it doesn't need to be a title match. It could just be I'm the face of the family or something. Some kind of match like that.
That
So
kind of title.
all right, so let's get into it, guys. First match. The Usos defended the titles against Nakamura and Rick Booz. Usos took the win. Rick Booz got injured. Sounds like he's going to be out for a while. So, we'll start with you on your thoughts on that match.
Well, I predicted Usos. I'm glad to see it. Bloodline keeps going. I love it. Nakamura, man, damn it, they need to figure out something for that guy. That guy's absolutely phenomenal. He's incredible. Putting him with Boogs is just it's just a low blow to his character. I know everybody likes Boogs and all that stuff, but the guy is he's a top superstar, and I know he's getting paid, but he definitely should be in a different kind of match, and he should be holding some sort of title. But it's just hard to go against the Usos right now. They're so top of the line.
Yeah, Joe, how about you?
I agree with Will. I like the Mike's Hard Lemonade thing. I thought that was pretty stinking cool because I had a double take there for a second. I'm like, whoa, WWE's promoting alcohol in their show again, and like, holy cow! So that was pretty cool. And I gave credit to Rick Boogs. That guy's a powerhouse, man. He said he felt it. He picked them both up, and the doctor in the back said, man, that tendon popped. Boom, 6 months, he's done. That sucks for him. You worked that hard to get to WrestleMania, and your first match, you're the first opening match, boom, an injury like that. And that's got to kind of play a little bit into the rest of the talent too, because they're like, holy cow, this is the way we're going to kick off WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting hurt, and now we've got to follow it. And so that's
Right.
unfortunate. But I'm like, well, I remember picking Usos to win that one. I don't know. It's like, who can stop them right now? It's just like trying to figure out who can stop Roman.
Yeah, no, I think I went the opposite way, but I do like the storyline with the bloodline, but sooner or later somebody's got to come along and knock them off their pedestals for a little bit, maybe not too long of a run, few pay-per-views or something. But Chris, how about you with that opening match?
That was a good opening match to start out WrestleMania. I kind of felt like it was going to set up what would happen with Brock and Roman, but good match overall. Hope Boogs recovers soon. I know it's going to take a few months, but
Yeah, I think they're saying 6 to 12,
yeah,
possibly 6 on the short end. So
it'd be
yeah,
interesting to see
best
what they
wishes to
do
Boots.
now.
I really hope it comes back soon. So
Yeah.
the next match, Drew McIntyre took on Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss in his corner, and Drew
Who cares?
McIntyre took the win.
Who cares?
All right, we know what Will thinks. Joe, we'll start with you, I guess.
And then honestly, it didn't do nothing for me. I mean, all it did was kind of set Drew up to be supposedly Roman's next opponent. But I mean, to me, it was just it was a television match that should have been on television.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, it definitely I think could have been on SmackDown, and then they could have moved the Battle Royal back to Mania or something, or put the Intercontinental title at Mania, which I don't know why it hasn't been. But Chris, how about you?
Yeah, it was kind of a filler kind of match, but it was good overall, I thought.
Yeah, 8-minute filler. I mean, I'm kind of with Will and Joe. I think this could have been a SmackDown match.
And then we go and get the sword and chop the ropes. What the hell
Yeah.
is that?
That was probably the best.
His sword is sharp, or the ropes
I
are
fell
weak.
asleep
One of
during
the-
that, and I woke up, and then everybody's like, the ring got cut in half. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah. All right, so moving on to the next match, which I think kind of a surprise ending. I think Miz and Logan Paul took on the Mysterios, and Logan Paul and Miz won, and then we had a turn. So, Chris, I'll start with you. What did you think of that match?
Yeah, I think most of us had somebody turning on somebody. We just didn't think it would be this way. But I mean, I feel like Logan Paul is gonna be a part-time wrestler at some point.
Yeah, Joe, how about you?
I picked the Mysterios in that one, I think it was, but Logan Paul, they said, had it in his contract that he wanted to be a babyface after the match was over with. That's why Miz turned on him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So how about you, Will? What did you think of the match?
I liked the match. I really liked it a lot, honestly. Miz, man, phenomenal. Miz is awesome. Ray's getting to the point where he needs to start thinking about hanging it up. Dominic sucks. Can't stand him. I went from being just whatever with Dominic to that guy needs to do some training or something. And then as far as Logan Paul, here's the thing about the guy. The guy is so popular social media right now. It's the right thing to do for WWE because it's getting more viewers in there and it's getting a lot more popularity. But how much are they paying that guy and how many talent have they released to be able to afford to pay Logan Paul? So I don't know, man. I was glad to see Miz do that. I wish it was real, because that would have been super cool. But I definitely can see Miz versus Logan Paul coming up probably at SummerSlam. I don't see that just going away and happening. Miz definitely needs to be a world champion.
Yeah, I definitely. I ain't gonna say it threw me off with Miz turning because, like Chris said, we had somebody turning. I really thought it was gonna be Dominic turning on Ray after they lost.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Will on this. Dominic, maybe needs to go back to NXT. Ray needs to.
He never was in NXT.
No,
He never went to NXT.
no, I know. That's what I'm saying. He needs to go to NXT.
A lot
Ray,
of people, Big B, I love to interrupt you every time you
yeah,
talk.
I know you do.
But listen to me. Listen real quick. A lot of people collect Pokemon, and a lot of people love Pokemon cards. But who in the hell comes out with a Pokemon card around their neck to wrestle a match when you're trying to make it seem like it's a real deal, right? You're trying to make it a big fight feel, and you're walking out with a Pokemon card on your neck.
That was 35,000, I think.
I thought it was 5 million.
No, it was $1 million.
5 mil I saw.
It was a mil? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was $1 million. He got
why are you walking around as a grown man with a Pokemon card around your neck?
I gotta say though, I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought Logan Paul kind of impressed me with his in-ring skills.
Yeah,
but
he did good.
I definitely see a Logan Paul Miz.
Paid,
I definitely see a Logan Paul Miz match.
He did good.
So Cody is saying $5.2 million card.
It don't matter. It
doesn't matter. You're right. Well,
why in the hell is a grown man?
At least he got paid though.
Why in the hell is a grown man would you walk out there with that?
Yeah. I like the outfits they had. Those are kind of sweet.
Would you walk out there with a $5 million, in cash in a briefcase? I mean, come on, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Not unless I got two of the biggest bodyguards around. I mean,
hey, speaking of outfits too, I made this comment during WrestleMania. I know we're going to get to it, but Edge, AJ, you watch. Within 6 months, we'll have elite figures with the outfits that Edge and AJ wore. You watch.
Oh, I guarantee. And I kind of want the one that Dominic wore with the Stars and Stripes in tribute to Eddie. So that kind of looked cool too. So moving on to match number 4. Becky Lynch goes in as champ. Belair defeats her, walks out as champ. So Joe, what do you think of that match?
Yeah, I called it. I said Bianca was walking out with the championship. Will went the complete opposite with me on that one. But you know what? The match itself, I think it was good. Becky, man, I tell you what, my wife and I were sitting there watching it. My wife never watched a wrestling show with me anymore, and she's like, "What in the hell is this?" But it got over, and I thought the match was good. It was way better. Obviously, it's the build up for it was right on, and Bianca's got a nice little black eye. If you've seen the next day after that,
yeah, no kidding.
And I think now Becky's going to take some time off, which is much deserved. Since coming back, she's been running pretty hard, so it's good for her.
Yeah. So, Will, what did you think of the match?
Well, I did call it wrong. I called it for Becky because I thought at least at WrestleMania. They would let Becky keep it. And then, if you go back and look at the comments that I made, I said she would probably drop it to Bianca, but probably not at Mania. But I was wrong. She dropped it at Mania. Bianca's very well-deserving, extremely well-deserving. I'm glad to see it, and she damn sure paid for it because her face is swollen shut right now. So extremely talented worker. Definitely glad to see it. Becky's great, but it's time to push some of these other young ladies too.
Yep. No, I get you. Chris, how about you? Becky versus or Beller taking the belt off of Becky.
Yeah, Becky's good. Bianca's good, but we kind of figured this was going to happen after SummerSlam. You know, when Becky won, and within a couple of seconds,
Yeah.
we kind of figured it was going to come back to Bianca at some point.
I mean, I'm glad Bianca won. I picked her, but I mean, the light side of it is, two big wins at Mania back to back years to take the title. I think was pretty impressive. So
Yeah.
we're going to move on to the next match. To me, probably was the match of night one. The best kept secret not the best kept secret in wrestling. Seth freaking Rollins loses to Cody Rhodes. So first off, did we think it was going to be anybody else besides Cody Rhodes? I thought maybe the Fiend, but we'll start with you.
I thought, for the mix-up value, for the shock value, that it may have been somebody other than Cody. But, I mean, obviously that was the way they wanted to play the card, and it was very predictable, and, that's what happened. But to me, I made this several times very apparent already on here. I didn't care, I'm not a Cody fan, never been a Cody fan, probably never will be a Cody fan. He had some great moves. He had some nostalgia he added to the match. I love the part where he did the tribute to Dusty, where he, did the bionic elbow and all that. But, I mean, Seth wins, Cody wins. I think I went up. I think I went outside for a little while and maybe like a restroom break. I probably ordered another drink. I mean, it didn't matter to me,
Chris, how about you?
I was surprised, I guess. I called that totally wrong, but that's okay. No, it was a good match. It was kind of quick, but good match overall.
Yeah, I thought it was. Joe, how about you?
The worst kept secret of the year award goes to that.
Yeah.
It started out slow, and then it picked up, but depending on where they go with it now, doesn't really mean anything. I mean, AEW fans are like, "Screw you, Cody! I can't believe you did this," but they're the same ones that were either at Mania watching it themselves and or watching it on television. That's cursing Cody for going back to get paid. I mean, big deal. The guy needs to get paid, and he's got a family to take care of. Bottom line, there's no loyalty in wrestling business anymore. That went away when the Undertaker retired. Bottom line, it doesn't matter who you are anymore.
I mean, how many wrestlers, back in the day went from WCW, WWF back and forth? I mean,
Jeff Jarrett went every other month.
Even you could throw Impact in there. I mean, how many wrestlers left and went to Impact and came back, vice versa.
Uh-huh.
So for me,
exactly.
I mean, like I said, I thought maybe the Fiend would have been there, but yeah, Cody Rhodes popped out. Not a big shocker. I like the little tribute he did for the little gimmick when he did the cartwheel and did the old Stardust thing.
That's the only time you're going to see that, because he said when
that's
he talked to Vince, he talked to Vince and said, "I never want to see it, hear it, or talk about it ever again." So
no, so not surprised Cody went over, but I think I'm with Will. That could have. I mean, it was a good match, but again,
let's see where he's at in 6 months. Right now, everybody loves him on there. Everybody's cheering him.
Well,
big hoopla. He's coming back.
Like you said, I think Cody here was trying to say traitor. Autocorrect didn't help him, but I don't think he's a traitor. I mean, you're going to go where the money's at, or who's got the offer, and whatever happened in AEW happened in AEW.
Guarantee you, Chris Jericho will be back in WWE before it's all said and done.
Oh, most likely, yeah.
Some people
there
thought
you go.
that at the very beginning.
The only one right now I don't think I can see going back to WCW or WWE is probably Sting. I think he's going to be AEW's, cornerstone kind of. So, all right. So match 6, Charlotte Flair went in as champ versus Ronda Rousey, comes out as women's champ. Will, why don't we start with you on that one?
Call that one right down the damn middle on that. So you had Little Nate as the referee, so that was cool.
I didn't even realize that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's what it was, right? Wasn't it Charles Robinson?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
So
it was.
Little Nate's
Yeah.
was the ref, so that was cool. Very close friend of the Ric Flair family. Really good. I believe every rumor there was about Ronda, man. I don't care what she comes out and says, any of that garbage. I believe every single rumor. I think she got mad. I think she had a huge ego. She thought she was Ronda Rousey and she was going to main event night one of WrestleMania. And honestly, I don't care if she ever comes back to the WWE ring. I know she draws money. I know people like her. But Charlotte Flair is there week in, week out, and is a world champion wrestler and from a world champion wrestling family. And she definitely needs those titles and she needs those wins at WrestleMania. So um, the right match was called. The match itself I thought was really good. I was overly impressed with the match, with the way they did it. I liked what they did. I liked the moves. I really liked the figure four. I mean, it just overall, I really enjoyed that match, and I'm really glad Charlotte won.
Well, Joe, how about you?
The best part of that whole entire match was the booby slip, man.
Damn it!
I didn't.
Too.
Yeah, that's when the screen went
I
black.
heard rumor on that, and I
Oh,
think I missed
it happened. It happened. That definitely happened there.
All
and
right.
she was she was such a pro, man. She kept Ronda in that figure eight and kept going right on. Honestly, I didn't like the match. It didn't live up to expectations to me. Ronda is not. She shouldn't be in a wrestling ring. Honestly,
No.
she's like Dominic. She's not very good at it. She needs some more training, and maybe she could be decent down the road. But she's just not. She's just not cut to be in a wrestling ring. I
don't think she's cut to be main event status. I'd like to see her team up with Shayna and go after the tag titles for a little bit. Put them in a tag team together. But Chris, how about you?
No, I kind of figured it was going to be Charlotte. I thought she had better, mic skills, better promos, and just the build up. I guess it was good, but it kind of led more towards Charlotte. I felt.
Yeah. No, I think I was wrong because I figured Ronda was going to win, but I'm kind of thinking along the lines of Will. Ronda doesn't need the title. I mean, all she has to do is show up on Mania. She's going to show, even at the Royal Rumble, she's going to put butts in the seat. She's going to be the draw for the women's division. So,
did anybody notice? Did anybody notice how when Holly Holm ended Ronda Rousey's UFC career, how she did it with the kick in the face, and then Charlotte Flair? Did you guys notice that?
Oh, I missed that.
No.
You guys noticed Charlotte Flair's kick to the face of Ronda Rousey?
Okay.
Anybody draw that conclusion?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so Holly Holm, when she ended Ronda Rousey's UFC career, she did basically the exact same thing and knocked Ronda out in UFC in the Octagon. And then Charlotte kind of portrayed the same finish at WrestleMania to Ronda Rousey.
Wow.
The only thing that would have made that better, though, honestly, I think if Ronda would have tapped out, they would have made her tap out.
Yeah.
But supposedly now they're building for Becky versus Ronda at next year's WrestleMania, which hopefully Ronda gets better trained. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully she gets better because I'm not keen on her being in the wrestling ring.
Nope. I agree with you, Joe. So the main event on that card for night one started off as a talk show, Kevin Owens, and then it turned into Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens in a no holds bar match. So Chris,
that was a good match.
Okay, go ahead and start with it, Chris. Then go ahead.
No, that was a good match. There were some funny moments in there, but I mean, I think we all kind of figured if it was going to be a match, which it was, Stone Cold will probably have to win that because it was in his home state, and it started his career there. He wanted to finish it in the state where he started, so why not?
Yeah, no doubt. Will, how about you?
I loved it. I loved the talk show part of it. I loved all that stuff. It's great to see Austin back for the nostalgia part. You knew it was going to have to be some sort of slobber knocker kind of deal. It wasn't going to be an actual wrestling match because, Austin's not capable of being suplexed and body slammed and power bombed and all that great stuff, because of, the guy's legit injured for life. But for the match that it was, for the brawl style, I will say Kevin Owens made Austin look good. And no matter how much Austin won that match, the victory has to go to Kevin Owens because he made Stone Cold look great. And Stone Cold's timing was really, really off during the majority of that match. His timing was off, and you could see even his kicks. You think back, 25 years ago, how his kicks were, and his kicks were so slow that, somebody's grandma could have moved out of the way of those things. But KO did a great job. KO definitely another one needs to be in the top tier for the world titles, and really could be a potential second place face for the company. Did a great job. What I would do with KO right now with his characters, I'd have him come out on the very next live show and say, you know what, I was absolutely wrong, and I got my ass kicked for it, and I respect him, and that guy's my hero. I mean, I would turn him so face it would be ridiculous, and get the fans behind him. What's that?
He kind of did a little bit.
Yeah, I would turn him. Yeah, man, I'm telling you though, I would lather it on there though, man. He would be so face, it'd be ridiculous, and that's how I'd get him his title shot, and that's how I'd get him moved on up the ladder, basically.
All right, Joel, how about you? Did we get your...
one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
He entered at 3 hours and 16 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they said it was 3:16. So, Joe, how about you?
One of the best parts about that too was when he got in the ring and he starts throwing the signs and stuff out of the ring. That was probably the best part of the whole thing. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good. Joe, your thoughts on the KO match?
It was exactly what we said it was going to be. It was going to be a no holds bar, and for what it was, I was glad to see Austin be able to go out on his terms. And like Will says, KO was the star of the show, man. He purred over Austin. I mean, he took the majority of that beating. He got in some offense in there, which I was surprised, and he did some moves to Austin, which I didn't think he was going to do, especially when they were outside the ring there. But so I give it up to Austin for having that much trust and faith in KO to do the things that he did to him. But KO, man, he's the star. Like I said, last night he came out on TV and kind of said, he took Austin by surprise, and everybody was like cheering for him. And then we get the famous Ezekiel coming out, and you know where that went. So if WWE drops the ball on this one, shame on them, because you got a star right there.
Yeah. So we got a comment from Warren. Great old school storytelling match. Best send off in Dallas. Major shout out to KO and Stone Cold. Took a suplex on the concrete and then let him do the stunner. So,
yeah, the Stone Cold shouldn't be fighting on TV anymore that has HD, because I'm like, Will, I could see everything with slow motion, the legs, the punches. And granted, I mean, it's been forever since Austin's been in the ring, but you can't be doing those kind of things. It's almost as bad as that stunner the next night.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that one. So that was night one. So we'll move on to match 2, which surprisingly kicked off with another tag team title match. The Alpha Academy, the Street Profits versus the champs, RK Bro, and RK Bro won it. And I know we all could envision our friend Randy Cox, Dragon Viper as we know him, rolling around his place in his his Riddle uniform and on a scooter cheering. So, Chris, how about you? We'll start with you.
I kind of had the Street Profits, winning and then having either Riddle or Randy Orton turning on, whoever. I can't, either way.
Yeah.
But it ended differently, but it's just going to depend on how long RK Bro is going to keep those titles.
Yeah, Will, how about you?
I think I predicted it exactly like Chris said, but I can't remember how I called that one, but I think I literally called it exactly like he said. I thought the Street Profits would take it because they're due a title run, but, they're still making money on RK Bro. So I think by SummerSlam, we're going to see a split there and, kind of go put Randy back into some title pictures. And, he's the only one that can get up there with Flair and Cena's record. So I think we're definitely going to see that before he's done. That he'll be tied with Cena and Flair for world titles. The RK Bro thing can't last forever, unfortunately. I know a lot of people like Randy Cox, Dragon Viper, love to see RK Bro, but it is what it is. So, but I think I definitely called that one wrong. I called it Street Profits, I believe, but I can't remember. So,
Yeah, Joe, how about you?
I think I did the same thing too, guys. I think I went with Profits, or either or. I went with the new champions, and I wanted Randy to freaking punt Riddle and right in the head, but I didn't get that either. So I'll have to wait a little bit longer. I love Randy Orton, man. I think he's one of the best out there. I just got done watching the WWE Evil on that, and I'll tell you what, if you have not watched it, you gotta watch it. He is phenomenal. I love when he's a bad guy. I think when he's a bad guy, he is absolutely the best.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just waiting for that heel turn of his, and just straight punt Riddle's head right off his head off.
Yeah. Well, I also had it wrong because
But
I
overall,
had
a good match. Honestly, though, that whole entire match, all three teams, very, very good. Otis, phenomenal. A guy that doesn't get a lot of credit, who I think needs to, is Chad Gable. He is a friggin' superstar in the making. He needs to be pushed, and I'm
he needs
already
some minor
hating.
title runs.
Yes, and I'm already hating Gable Stevenson, or whatever his name is right now. I'm already hating that guy. They've already
What?
pushed him down my throat. Yes, they pushed him down my throat too much the other night.
So anyway, so I had Alpha Academy winning with Gable Stevenson getting involved and helping them because I think he would fit well with being the second student of the Alpha Academy, but that didn't go for wishing. RK Bro won it. I think we're all kind of waiting for that split too because like Joe said, Orton's a way better bad guy than he is a face. So we'll see what happens down the road and see how they build that. Can't see what they do with Stevenson now that a little feud going with him and Gabe. So we'll see where they go. So the second match on night 2, Bobby Lashley versus Omos. Bobby Lashley wins. Match was just over 6 minutes long. Will, what do you think of that match?
I think you should have went with Omos. Putting him over was very important for his career. I don't think it meant anything to Lashley to win or lose. But I think the following night with MVP joining Omos will help guide his career. A lot of these newer guys, they've got a lot going for them, but that mouthpiece is incredible. Just look at Paul Heyman for Brock Lesnar. So I can see why they made those calls, but I think no matter what, the career path is well on its way for Omos.
Joe?
Man, Omos almost killed Lashley in that match. Did you see it?
Yeah.
When he threw him into the corner there and he ran into him, and Lashley didn't get up in time, and Omos hit him and then wound up hitting him again. And oh my God, that match was brutal.
It was.
Lashley did what he could as a veteran but there's only so much you can do. That's the problem with some of these big guys, is that they're so big. Like Eric Bischoff says, one of the biggest problems with the Big Show is he was a big, powerful, strong, tall guy, and every time they put him as a face, nobody loved it because how can you get a giant over when they're fighting like a guy like a Rey Mysterio and things like that? So hopefully with Omos, he needs a mouthpiece. I mean, we could clearly see that after his I'll challenge anybody to WrestleMania match. So perfectly, and I was kind of wondering how MVP was going to play into that because he wasn't there on that Sunday show.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect way, especially if they're going to go with Bobby being a face. MVP's got to be a heel. Yep. So I like that Lashley guy went over, and I called it on that because after him losing the championship, he needed that win, I think. But what would have made it better would have been Omos destroying Lashley. Even say last night, and that way Lashley can go off and get surgery, and then now you got Omos as a major heel who just took out a world champion, and you build forward on that.
Yep. Chris?
No, it was good overall. I mean, yeah, MVP wasn't there. We were kind of wondering why he wasn't. I did see something before, maybe it's like a day or two before that match that Lashley was going to be a face. Heading into WrestleMania, which is understandable because he's facing Omos, and you're kind of wondering, if somebody's gonna be there for Omos like a Paul Heyman. So, but it was good.
Yeah, for as quick as it was, I thought it was a pretty good match, powerful. Both guys showed their power. The turn Monday night, which we'll talk about on Between the Ropes on Sunday, was huge. And I think you guys nailed it. I think Omos needs that mouthpiece, and MVP needs to be the heel. So that was a great one. So match 3, the anything goes match. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. Knoxville getting the win, and I think we saw everything in this match pulled out. So Joe, we'll start with Chris. Joe's on mute. We'll start with Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
I thought it was funny. I mean, anything that was out there, we knew Johnny Knoxville could use. He's done it before, maybe not in a wrestling match, but in his movie. So I thought it was a pretty good match. Kind of, ease the tension, so to speak.
Yeah, it was a comedy match. Joe.
You know what? That match was way better than I thought it was going to be. Hats off to Johnny Knoxville, man. That guy, he came to play. I was so happy when Sammy kicked Wee Man. Oh, dude, that was awesome. I wish he would have took him and kicked him like a football right in the middle of the 6th row. I said that too. That would have made that thing the best. But couple missed spots in there. I mean, the mouse traps on the table, they should have that should have been done a little different. But overall, man, it was a great comedy match. I didn't really figure out how that mouse trap set in there, how that played into it until afterwards when they started talking about Sammy being a rat, and then it made sense to me afterwards. But I was like, what in the hell is that big?
Catch that. Yeah.
And when he was in it, you could see him kicking around like he was a rat, so it made sense. But I was just like, what in the hell is there a mousetrap in this thing? But I guess we've seen it all in wrestling now.
Yep. Will.
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it from beginning to end. I just thought it was great. I know it was all gimmicky and it was all, jackassed up, but man, I loved it. Every single minute of it. Great match. Honestly, y'all can give me some pushback on this, but I'd give that match a 9 out of 10. I loved every second of that thing. Wow. And those two guys both worked their asses off to make the other one look good. And they put together a total story. And that's how WrestleMania matches are supposed to be. It's supposed to be a storyline, a build-up, and a finish. And that's exactly what they did.
No, that's well, you nailed it. They wrote this story very good. The match was funny. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. I think we all picked Johnny Knoxville to win. I gotta say, Joe. I know you're not a Wee Man fan, but I'm kind of impressed that he actually got Sami Zayn up and slammed him. I didn't think he was.
Oh, I didn't say that. I'm not a Wee Man fan.
Oh,
I just think if you're, I love Jackass. I think it's great. Okay. The new movie I wasn't too keen on, but no, I have got no problem with.
How about that
big hand?
Mark
Henry said it the best when he was on Busted Open. Mark Henry said, "My son made a WrestleMania moment."
Yep.
And if you don't remember what that was, is when Mae Young gave birth to the hand, which was Mark Henry's son. He goes, "My son made a WrestleMania moment." And so Mark Henry was super proud of that. But I didn't even see that. I seen Sammy run, and all of a sudden I seen that. I was like, what in the hell was that? Giant hand.
I like that.
Mark should be proud, man. His son's growing into be a big boy.
Yeah, no kidding. So,
but no, I thought the Jackass crew did really good.
I
thought Dancing Man, whatever his name is, Party Guy. I thought, what the hell? I'm glad his schlong didn't fly out like it normally does. But I could have done with a little bit less ass cheeks in that.
Yeah, well, we know Ace has that costume in his closet, so that's
I
why
believe
Ace.
that. I believe that.
That's
I
why
believe-
Ace
think
didn't
that's
come
why-
on today. He's probably modeling it right now. So
I believe it.
I think so
Yeah.
too. I think he's in the house running around with it
Yeah.
on right now,
Matter of
getting
fact-
smacked by the hand.
As a matter of fact, I would like for him to be referred to as Ace Mania going forward, brother.
Ace All right. So next is the women's four-way tag match. Shayna Baszler, Natalia. I'm sorry. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Sasha Banks, versus the champs, Queen Zelina and Carmella, with Naomi and Banks walking away. So
My God, are you even going to get that out of your mouth tonight?
yeah, no
Holy
kidding. God,
gee
move on.
whiz.
All right, Joe, what do you got?
I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed. I wanted Liv to win. I thought Liv, and we've said this, she deserves a championship.
Yep.
Now I think she needs to go back to NXT at this point because I think that's the only way she's going to get a championship. Unfortunately, I think WWE is just passing up on a great opportunity with her. And Bayley's on her way back, so that just means Liv's going to get pushed down that card even more. Asuka's going to be back at some point, we think. And we know that Rhea's getting ready to turn because, quote unquote, she's supposed to be the newest member to the Edge group, which is something we'll talk about down the road there.
Yep.
And you can see that next week. I think it's going to happen next week, obviously, in that tag team title match. Another women's tag team broke up last night. So, the biggest problem is, and I feel bad, is all those women superstars because the tag team titles don't mean a dang thing there.
No, well,
Which team broke up? Or
Man, all I can say,
Zelina and Vega broke up, or Carmella broke up last night because she's getting married, and they just broke that
It should
team.
have been Rhea and Liv. I understand why they didn't do it, but it should have been Rhea and Liv, even if it was for short-lived time. That's all I can say. It should have been them two, but I get why they did what they did.
Put Liv in that group with them if that's what they're going to do. If it's going to put Rhea in there with Edge, put Liv in there, man. She can play a good dark side character.
The costumes they had, I mean, they're almost
Holy
there.
cow.
So, Chris, how about you, bud?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I thought it was going to be Rhea and Liv too, but I also figured that it was going to be Selena and Carmella just because of their on-screen, fighting, so to speak, and their distractions and all that. But
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I think it should have been Rhea, Liv. Joe, I'm with you too. I think Liv just needs to go back down to NXT and get revamp, get that title run that we all want her to have, and then maybe come back up with the main roster.
Hey, it's done really good for Mandy Rose down there and her little group down there. So I mean,
Mandy's
there
going to come back soon.
Ain't no shame in going down there.
No. All right, so the match 5, to me, I think was the match that everybody was looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Edge versus AJ Styles. Edge wins. Chris, we'll start with you on that one. What do you think of that match?
I know it's probably the match we were hoping for, but I don't know. It started out slow. It kind of picked up in a little bit, but I don't know. I have mixed thoughts on it, but it was good overall, I thought, including the end afterwards.
Yeah, Joe?
I agree. I was expecting a higher pace, quick match with those two guys, hard hitting, and it kind of took me back to a little old school wrestling where it was that slow pace, slow build, which is something I haven't been used to in a while because we've been trained nowadays that you have to get 27 super kicks into a match. You have to get 15 elbow drops off the top rope. Everybody's got to slap their legs. I mean, we're accustomed to that. So when you get that old school methodical match of an arm drag or a rest hold, everybody thinks it's boring. In reality, that's what wrestling was built on. So it started that way. It picked up. I think the finish was bad. I think even though you want to start that group, you could have started that group the next night and let those two guys finish it. There was no reason for Damian Priest to be out there. That, to me, took away from it. But overall, I still think it was the match of the weekend. And I can't wait for them to have another one.
Yeah. Will?
Good match. Terrible ending. That's it. That's all you can say. Is they had so much going for them, and they just dropped it at the end. You know, the writers, and that's what I was worried about. I quoted that last week that
Yep.
if it's written right, it'll be great. If it's not written right, it won't be. And you put Damian Priest out on the floor next to the ring, and you know, kind of half smirking, and that cost somebody a match. That's terrible. So good match, bad ending.
You know, and I gotta agree with Will. It was a great match. Started off slow, like you guys have all said. Edge winning. Uh, Matter of fact, on our show, we're doing a viewing party. I didn't know the match ended when Priest came out. I think I even made a comment. I'm like, the match is over. What happened? You know, so they had a replay for me, and I'm just like, wow. So when Priest came out, it distracted me from the ending of the match. So I'm with Will. It was a bad ending.
Not even
So
at WrestleMania, and he distracted you.
yeah, exactly. So, but Joe, I think you are right. I think it was the match of the weekend. The next match, do we really got to talk about it? Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus the New Day. Ridge
Nope, that
Holland,
should have been a
Sheamus won.
kickoff.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That should have been on kickoff, or should have
a
been on
less than
SmackDown.
2 minute match. That was kind of.
Squash match.
I mean, if you
A
guys want to talk
minute
about, we can.
43 or
But
something like that. There ain't
what's
nothing
that?
to talk about.
Exactly.
Their entrance took longer than the match.
Yeah, the match was only a minute 40.
Wow.
So the next two matches,
Look at that, man. Kofi Kingston goes from being world champion to being a minute 43-minute match.
Yeah,
And you're King of the Ring and former multiple time world champion.
yeah.
Shane.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel bad for those guys. They
So
deserve
the
better.
next two matches we can kind of combine together. Pat, first off was Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee with Mr. McMahon in the corner, which I think we kind of all thought that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
McAfee wins. So let's talk about that match first. Will, go ahead. What did you think?
I'm glad for McAfee, but again, this was another one of those. Who cares? I'm glad for McAfee. I like McAfee a lot, but at the same time, you know, it was lame. And then you got Vince coming in, and Vince gonna, you know, have the match and all that, and then Vince beats McAfee, and then it was all, you know, just to get Austin to work night two, and he did. You know, comes in, throws probably the second worst stunner in the history of ever. Yeah,
And I
good
think
for
both with Vince McMahon.
Yeah. The other one was in '97, and then of course a couple nights ago. But you know, the problem is Austin kicks him in the gut, and Vince literally started slipping in those shoes and couldn't get a grip on the mat in those shoes. I don't know what the hell he was wearing. It was like orthopedic bedroom shoes or something, and he couldn't get a goddamn grip on the mat. And when that happened, you know, it was like he was bouncing. I think he was trying to literally not fall on his ass. And then when he finally caught the ropes, it was like, well, let me stun you. And then he drops to his knees and then backwards. It's like, man, you should just hit him in the head with a chair. It'd have been a better, you know, reaction.
Did you guys see the clip of Mick Foley laughing? That's all over Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, Mick Foley said he could take a better stunner, and Mick Foley can barely walk.
Yeah, so that just, you know, just totally destroyed it. But
I was waiting for him to start shaking though, like he did in '97 when he took that first stunner.
The best part of the McAfee match was in the opening package before they started wrestling, and it shows Austin Theory coming out there and tripping him up on the table, and McAfee lands flat on his back on the ring announcer's table. That was the best part of any of it. Just watching that replay from SmackDown, you know what I'm talking about, when he was doing the Nakamura dance, when he's dancing to the music. That was the best part of it, watching Austin Theory just drop his ass on the table. But I'm not an Austin Theory fan at all. I don't care about the whole Vince, you know, storyline and all that. I don't like the guy at all. I don't see it. But I do like McAfee. I like him as a commentator, and I don't think he has any future whatsoever in wrestling. I don't think you'll ever see him wrestle matches, but he does a hell of a good job commentating.
No, I mean, I go props for following his dream and getting the chance, but I'm with Will. So, Chris, how about you?
I think we'll see him, you know, in some spots, hit and miss, but I don't think he'll be a full-time wrestler.
No.
He's good on commentary. I thought it was kind of funny hearing Michael Cole on commentary too, on his match, and he's really into it, and you know, it'd be interesting to see what happens on SmackDown about that. But you know, good match overall. I'm not too fond of the Vince angle, but
Yeah.
we kind of figured he was going to be somewhat involved because originally Seth was going to be in the match, then he wasn't, so he was going to get some part into it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Vince needs to stay out of the ring. But to me, the best part, one of the best parts was watching McAfee kick that ball longer
Yeah.
than any Dallas Cowboy punters ever probably kicked a football recently. So,
Yep.
but Austin Theory selling that stunner, I mean, that's got to be one of the best sell jobs since The Rock selling the stunner. I thought he was going to jump himself right off the top rope. You know, when he got stunned, I thought it.
Did you guys notice that Vince McMahon punted that soft football into McAfee, and that's what did him in
Yeah,
Yeah.
the victory? Like, what the hell was that? He
Yeah.
basically punted that Nerf football into him, and he was like, "Oh no, not the Nerf! I'm done." You know.
yeah, yeah.
It
No, but
The best line was
reminded
when
it reminded me of the old cowboy shows because I have an old soul, so I drink a lot of coffee and I watch old cowboy shows all the time instead of watching reality television and stuff. And it reminds me of the old cowboys when they get shot, they'd be like, "Oh," and they fall over dead. That's what it reminded me of. When they kicked them with the Nerf football, and it just they had
how about at the
good
end
thing
there?
going. Good
In the
thing
closing
going.
moments of that match, when Austin's walking up, they show McAfee and he's laying next to on the ringside, just trying to guzzle that beer down.
Yeah.
I think that was a meme the next day.
Oh, probably.
well,
probably.
the best
I bet
line
you there was a
when,
lot of memes from WrestleMania we could look. I mean, we'll just have to have mess around find them. So
yeah, the king of memes, mess around.
All right. So night 2 main
Michael
event.
Cole calling Austin Theory a punk ass bitch, and that was the best line of the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I give Pat McAfee, man. He gave him credit. He did some things in
He
there I
wants to
didn't
be
think
a
he could
wrestler.
do. I was impressed with him. He did the Kurt Angle jump onto the top rope.
Yeah.
And then he did that
shocked me.
backflip. So I mean he and hey, you know what? We can talk all the crap in the world about Vince McMahon and that stupid stunner, but that dude for his age is ripped and is in better shape than all four of us combined together.
Oh, no kidding. No doubt. I mean,
when he took that jacket
agree
off
with
and his little wife beater shirt was on, I was
most
like,
people his
freaking...
age are in a nursing home.
Yep.
Literally.
Yes, and his freaking forearm is bigger than my head.
Yeah. All right.
Gee whiz,
So let's move on to the final match, the main event, the unification title match. Winner takes all. Best wrestling match, WrestleMania match ever. I don't know. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns walks away with both titles. So, Will, we'll start with you on this one.
So I didn't see any unification yet, and I hope to God they don't. I hope they do some sort of tournament for one of the titles. I definitely don't want to see them unify those belts. That's the worst thing they can do. Mm-hmm. Match-wise, there was a couple really, really good spots in that match. And really, honestly, that match was nothing but spots. As far as, you'd have Lesnar hit 5 suplexes. You had Roman hit, I think, 4 Superman punches. You had Lesnar hit an F5. You had Roman hit 2 or 3 spears. I noticed he tried to do the Roman move before Undertaker, where he basically hits one rope, runs off the other rope, and then hits the spear. But ultimately, I mean, I called Roman on that, and I think that's the right way to go. My whole thing is, if I could shout it out loud enough, don't unify those belts. Yes. Give somebody else a world title. There's so many other guys that are deserving. The build-up, the entrance, everything was tremendous. The spot where they go through the barricade was great. But, I mean, overall, it was very, very quick. And there was no big shebang with what they were building to be the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, which obviously we know was complete BS. There's a lot of other matches out there that have been the bigger WrestleMania matches of all time. I wish they would never use slogans like that again. I think that is, I don't get offended by much, but I think that is totally wrong, totally disrespectful to wrestlers of the past. And how many main events has The Undertaker had, including with Roman Reigns? And you're going to call that the biggest WrestleMania match of all time? I get it. It's a slogan. You're trying to sell tickets. You're trying to sell pay-per-views. But don't use slogans like that. That's absolutely terrible. Basically, you're saying any other WrestleMania match you could ever watch is okay, but it's never going to be as good as this one. And that's just not true. Joe?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I agree, especially when they fought 6 or 7 times now. I mean, if it was the first time for those two guys fighting, yeah, okay. But
that
still,
was the third
biggest,
WrestleMania.
No.
Third WrestleMania they've main evented together. That's the third
Exactly.
one they main evented together. 31, 34, and 38.
Yep, and I agree because I've been watching wrestling since '86. I mean, without WrestleMania 1's main event, there would be no WrestleMania. Is that the greatest WrestleMania match of all time? No. But you needed that match in order to have WrestleMania. WrestleMania 3, the biggest match at the time, Hogan and Andre. I'll put that above this match as being the end-all, be-all, because that could have went 2 different ways. Hogan could have won it, which he did, or Andre could have said, no, I'm going to win it, and we have a whole different scenario after that. So there's been plenty
don't
of
forget,
it.
Don't forget WrestleMania 2. Hogan and Bundy in the cage was a bigger match than Lesnar Reigns.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they actually did more moves. What ticks me off about wrestling nowadays is, you know, when Hogan would do a leg drop or an Ultimate Warrior would do a Warrior Splash, ain't nobody kicking out of those moves, man.
Nope.
Those are their finishers. That's the end of it. 1, 2, 3, over with. Look how many times we've seen the spear, like you said. Kick out, F5. It used to be when you got hit with the F5, Hogan didn't even kick out of the F5 when he got beat by Lesnar. Things like that. Those guys, nowadays, finishing moves ain't the same thing anymore. But the Kimura lock, I thought that looked like it did some damage to Roman there. So I'm intrigued to see how that plays out if he is just bruised up on that.
But Joe, you're a historian a lot like I am, and so is Big B and Crispy. Joe, would you consider that a match, or would you consider that a bunch of spots put together?
Oh, that's a bunch of spots.
I look at that match as a Young Bucks match. There's a spot fest in there.
Yeah.
It's the Young Bucks versus Pentagon and Phoenix type match. There's a whole bunch of spots fest. There's no wrestling. A wrestling match to me is a Macho Man versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That's a match.
Yep.
What about Shawn and Undertaker at 25 and 26?
Shawn and Undertaker storytelling, you know, things like that. This was exactly what it was meant to be. It was to get Roman over. Now the problem is supposedly these belts are unified and WWE is supposed to make a new belt, which is stupid. And now you got the problem is, where do you go with Roman now?
Right.
Because he's beaten everybody at this point, pretty much.
Yep.
A couple times over. I mean, they're pushing Drew now. Drew just came off of a Happy Corbin match.
Yeah.
Is he a legitimate contender? There is nobody on that WWE roster right now that is a legitimate contender, in my opinion, to take the title off of Roman. That's the problem that they put themselves into.
Cody.
Cody be the one, yeah.
Yeah, Cody probably. Chris, how about you to close out the WrestleMania card? What did you think of the match?
Yeah, I mean, it was good for the most part. I just thought the ending was, I don't know, it should have been better, but, you know, somebody coming out and, like you said, The Rock or just anybody showing up would have made it a little better. But we'll just have to see what happens with the titles and all that.
Did it seem like they rushed that ending too after that Kimura lock? They went into the F5 / missed it into a spear, boom, 1, 2, 3, over with. I mean, that's where I went to the restroom and came back and it was over. I'm like, holy cow, what happened?
Yeah.
The best part of that match for me was Paul Heyman screaming on the outside of the ring, "I beg of you, my tribal chief. I beg of you, my tribal chief."
Yeah.
When he's trying to tell Reigns, that was hilarious. If you didn't see it, go back and watch that and just listen to Paul Heyman talking. Hilarious. Yes, my tribal chief. Yes, my tribal chief. I'm telling you, that shit was hilarious. So.
Yeah, no,
I'm glad it didn't end with like the bloodline getting involved, because I think we all thought that was going to happen too. That the bloodline was going to get involved. So I'm kind of good that they just ended it the way they did. Hopefully now we move on from the Lesnar and Roman feud from now until eternity. I don't need to see another one of those matches.
No, for me, I mean, I thought it was going to end in a no contest. Both guys would keep their belts. If I had to pick a winner, I was going to pick Brock. But again, how can you take the title off Roman? He's so hot right now. Um, so
Do you guys think something will happen at
As soon as
Backlash?
that count started happening, that count out there when Lesnar was outside the ring and
Yeah.
he barely got back in. I mean that guy
if he would have
got in there
tripped, I mean, what
like
would they have done? 'Cause it looked
9.5
like
seconds, and it's like
It would've been
holy
over.
cow, we're gonna get a count out.
yeah, I thought so too. Because it's like he's stumbling, which is probably part of the match, and then it's like, okay, you got to 8, you stumbled to the ring. It's like, man, what if you would have actually tripped over yourself?
You guys
No.
noticed too the past few WrestleManias, and they've been kind of going off and on with this for a while. But did you guys notice there was no real host of WrestleMania this year?
No
I've
real
noticed
what?
that. Like a
No real
host.
host.
I mean,
No.
last year there was.
Yeah, in multiple years now, there's been a host.
Yeah.
Oh, host. I get what you're saying.
A
Yeah.
host of WrestleMania.
They spent all that money on those celebrities this year,
Yeah. So
and that inflated number of 78,000 fans when it was only like 50-some thousand fans again. So
Well, I saw today that they said they set an all-time attendance record because they put the 2 nights totals together, so it was like 156,000 some odd,
Yeah.
whatever. But you cannot compare 2 nights totals to a past,
No.
event where you've had one night.
No.
They were comparing it to 2016. They said
Yeah.
in 2016 at 32 that there was 102,000, and they blew that out of the water by like 54,000 fans.
Well, yeah, you
or
had 2
something.
nights to sell tickets.
But there's a 2-night deal.
yeah, and even when they had 102,000, they didn't even have that. I think they only had like 70 or 80,000 at that point.
And you know what? I am an advocate for WrestleMania is a one-night deal. I don't care if it's on Saturday or Sunday, but it's a one-night deal. This 2-night deal, I can't stand it. I've never been a fan of it, but they say this was the highest grossing, most profitable WrestleMania of all time. They brought in more money to the city of Dallas than they've ever brought into any other city ever. Well, first of all, 36 was the first 2-night event. There was no fans present for 36 whatsoever. Yep. 37 was in Tampa, still heavy pandemic. We were still heavy in the pandemic.
And wasn't there a chance of that being moved out of
there
Tampa?
Was. So 37.
2020. Yeah,
No,
2020 was going to be in Tampa.
37 was still very heavy pandemic, and everything at 37 was still 6-foot distancing and stuff. So you couldn't fill Raymond James Stadium like you normally would for WrestleMania 37. If you remember, or if you go back and watch the footage, a lot of the seats at 37 were filled with cardboard fans at 37.
Yes, they were. They were down.
So
they were filled down below me, cardboard cutouts of people.
You can't really count that. This is really the first WrestleMania post-pandemic that they've even really been able to have. So, and it's the first one since they've started doing the 2-night show. So, again, you really can't count this one. Now, next year, you can kind of count it against this year. But last year doesn't count. And the year before, there wasn't even any fans there. So, you can't count those. So, this was just, first post-pandemic WrestleMania. So, of course, you're going to see some attendance bumps, but you're not getting nearly the attendance that you're expecting. Now next year in LA, you should get a good attendance turnout.
The 2-night work during
it
the
still
pandemic.
goes to show though, WWE still can't sell out. People still ain't buying into the WWE product. They're still having problems selling tickets.
Well, 2 things. Number 1, Chris, I definitely want to hear what you had to say. Number 2, gas prices, guys. Gas prices, grocery prices, beef prices. When it comes down to, for me to fill up my truck, it's $90 to fill my tank. A lot of people out there cannot afford $300 and $400 WrestleMania tickets when they're paying $90 to fill up their tank. Then hotel prices are at an all-time high. Yep. So what are you going to do? So for me to go to WrestleMania years ago and do the whole week and do it all up and really have a great time, it cost me $10,000 on the first WrestleMania I ever went to. And that was 28. But the average person in WrestleMania going to WrestleMania probably spends $1,500 to $2,000. Just the average person, including tickets, hotel, airfare, whatever, probably $1,500 $2,000, maybe a little more, depending on meals and all that. When gas is almost $4 or $5 a gallon, beef prices are through the roof, grocery prices are at an all-time high, inflation as a whole is at an all-time high, rent, mortgages, everything else is at an all-time high. How are you going to sell out such an expensive event? Not everybody can afford luxury, and that's exactly what it is, unfortunately. And it's the same thing with NFL tickets and everything else. There was more NFL tickets available this year through different apps than there ever has been.
Yeah. So, well, guys, I mean,
Wait,
we will.
hold on, Big B. We forgot
Yeah.
Crispy Bacon's
No,
point.
you're
Oh, I'm
good.
sorry.
No, I
Yeah,
was
go
gonna
ahead,
say
Chris.
2020 was supposed to be in Tampa, but yeah, pandemic, we moved it to Performance Center, and
Right.
I think
Yeah.
two-night WrestleMania was good for the pandemic. I don't know
Yeah.
about now, but
Yeah. I think if they keep the two nights, and like Will said, the prices keep going up, they might have to venture back going into NBA arenas and stuff. I don't think they can fill out these big US Bank tile stadiums. I think they'd have to go
Absolutely
back.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Big B, that is a great point. Crispy Bacon, great point. You're absolutely right. And there's no need for it, honestly, man. I've been to several of them now in outside stadiums, and let me tell you, it sucks compared to being in an arena. It absolutely sucks compared to being in an arena because, you're dealing with weather elements and everything else, and I would much rather prefer it to be in an arena. However, I know Vince has made the point several times that he would never, ever go back to an arena for WrestleMania. It'll always be a stadium show. So we'll have to see where that goes in the future.
Yeah, no doubt. Money talks. So, all right, guys. Well, so we went into a little extra time. Had a lot of good topics. So we'll start with Will with his closing thoughts here.
Closing thoughts. WrestleMania was really good for what it was. Would I watch it again? Yes. Would I buy the DVD or the Blu-ray? Absolutely. Would I watch it again on Peacock? 100%. Am I going to go back and watch it to see how many spots I missed? Yes, I sure am. Some great moments, some great matches, some great entertainment. From me personally, thank you to everybody here at Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. Enjoyed another great show with you guys. Really enjoyed just flying off the cuff with the WrestleMania coverage today. Hell of a good time with that. Shout out to Ace of Mania, since he's not here. Shout out to Mess Around King of the Means Dave. Shout out to Randy Cox, Dragon Viper, wherever he is out there. And of course, Crispy Bacon, who does all the technical stuff for us. That dude's smarter than all of us put together. Big Joe, glad you're feeling better, man. I was worried like crazy about you, man. Glad to see you here. And then Big B, you and I have had some cool conversations. We have a lot in common. So, and I'm never ever gonna not interrupt you when you talk. So, shout out to my folks over in Top Rope Collectibles. If it wasn't for those guys, man, I don't know what the hell I'd be doing. Those guys are awesome. They stand behind me, support me like crazy. And then of course, Tag Team Champs Wrestling Auctions, which is our public business page. Thoughts Count Anywhere with Chief and them, great dudes over there, huge supporters of me. And then, of course, Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, always got something great going on. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate everybody that's supportive of me and all the things I'm doing. So, Joe?
Thank you guys so very much. Yeah, I'm glad I'm feeling better, too. I got some doctor appointments coming up, make sure my heart's all right, Other than that, WrestleMania, I agree, Will. I'm the same way. I'll watch it again. I'll buy the DVD if they make it. Who knows? I mean, they keep saying they ain't making no more, but I got every one of them now, so hopefully they do. I'm going to continue to keep watching wrestling. I'm going to keep supporting it, whether it's good or bad. Just name of the game. I'll keep buying the figures. So, and that's what Vince knows. He knows that we're all going to do that. So, I enjoyed it. Enjoyed talking about WrestleMania, about the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we do. And shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for coming on here and enjoying it with me. I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone listening.
Glad to see you here, Joe, man. I don't know what it would be like to come on here and you not be here, man. So I'm really glad you're here, dude.
I tell you what, man. Saturday morning, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. I really did. When my wife rushed me to the hospital, I thought I was gonna die. And then I
Ooh,
thought, damn it, I'm dying on WrestleMania Saturday too. I ain't kicking
well,
out.
not good.
I'm glad
But
you're here, man.
Yeah, we are glad you're here, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. Good WrestleMania. Hopefully, maybe next year will be, a step up, but it was still good. I liked it.
Yeah.
But
No, just like what thanks for everybody for chiming in and commenting. Will, Joe, I'm the same with you guys. I didn't expect too much out of this WrestleMania, but I'll go watch it again with my son. He'll probably have it on 3-4 times by the end of the month. So, um, I'm gonna enjoy wrestling no matter what. Complain about it. That's what we're here for. But with that being said, guys, keep checking out Coast to Coast. Keep checking out Top Rope Collectibles and everything Will does. We got great shows coming up tomorrow. Sports Minute, and then kicking with Isaiah on Thursdays. So keep checking us out. And for that, this is Tuesday Night Mania. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.